Have you ever felt the need to make changes in your life only to be met with opposition from the people that are closest to you? Sometimes that opposition can come from family, other times it can come from friends. But when you make a decision that steps outside of the realm of the norm, you better believe that you're going to be met with people who are going to try and discourage. They're going to try and disassociate themselves from you. And they're really just trying to take your will and your drive away of being different. A lot of us come out here in this world and we see things that are problematic, but the rest of society just decides that they want to go along with the flow. And it can drive a lot of us crazy if we're driven to do something different, to make a change, to stand alone in some cases. So I want to give you 3 keys to being able to step out into that vision that you have in your mind for how your world should function and operate. Because if you realize that something is off with the system, then you're not meant to participate in the system. Because when you stuff yourself into the box, you'll drive yourself crazy trying to maintain throughout life in that way. So the first thing I want to talk about is belief. I'm amazed at how many people fail to realize just the miracle that it took for them to even be here on this earth right now. Now, I'm not going to go into the scientific definitions and go deep into the subject, but just look up what it took for you to be here as far as the birthing process. You were an amazing swimmer in order for you to be alive watching this video and us having this exchange right now. And I'll just leave it at that. But you have to have belief that not only did I beat out so many other organisms trying to come to this space where I am, I hit the lottery when it comes to the genetic lottery of just being a human. But I've also overcome stumbling blocks such as coming into this world basically without a consciousness. And I've learned how to communicate and how to exist from basically nothing. It makes me think of when my daughter was born and I held her for the first time, and I would take her and hold her close to my ear because I was just so amazed that her vocal cords were making noise. And then we fast forward to later on in life when I got my first text message from this little organism that I held in my arms that couldn't do anything for herself at the time, to where we are now. It's truly amazing. But it doesn't have to stop there. If you realize that you have the ability to overcome obstacles and go to uncharted territories, that's the first step to making your transformation. Despite the naysayers, despite what a person may say is impossible, you have to realize, well, you don't really have to do anything, but I would recommend that you realize that in this life, if you have a vision, just because it can't be validated from people externally does not mean that your vision is not possible, and it does not mean that your vision is not valid. No matter what you decide to do, no matter what decision you make in life, the people closest to you are probably going to fall into 2 camps. There are going to be people who are going to say that you should have done something. And there are going to be people who will say that you shouldn't have done a certain thing or made a certain decision. The way my father used to put it, and he would always say in his vernacular back when I was a child, that in this life, you're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. So you might as well do what you feel comfortable with, what you feel driven to do. I'll relate a story to a valuable lesson that I learned from just joining the military. Now, this was 21 years ago at this point now. I'm fresh out of high school, and I made the decision, fresh in the middle of the war on terrorism, that I was going to join the Army. When I told the people around me what my plan was, they told me I was crazy. Fast forward 5 years, I decide that I'm getting out of the military. And this is right in the middle of the financial crisis, the housing market crash, and I am getting out of the military. And people told me that I was crazy for having the desire to change careers and leave the security blanket of a check every 2 weeks on the 1st and the 15th. Now, to me, that may be lost on some of you, but to me, I was amazed at the fact that I go through and sit in solitude and I make a decision that I feel like is sound. I share it with other people, and no matter how much I deliberate on my decision, no matter how much I feel strongly about my decision, there are people who are going to tell me that I'm on the wrong track, that I'm sadly mistaken, that I've miscalculated some kind of way. And the same is going to go for you. I don't know what your goals are in life, but if there's something that you feel strongly about, you have a feeling in your gut that you should do it, then you're going to have to be able to make that decision without anybody giving you any kind of external validation to let you know you're on the right track. The only way that you're going to be able to know you're on the right track is based on the results. So stick to making a plan, working your plan, believing in yourself, which is the most important part, and letting the results speak for themselves at the end of it all. No one person on this earth, whether it's a parent, whether it is a mentor, whether it is a friend or an associate, a colleague, can tell you what's right for you better than you can. So believe in yourself. Now, the second part is preparation. In order for you to make a decision, transform your life, build up your self-confidence, you're going to have to prepare to make that walk alone for a certain amount of time. Now, this step is what holds a lot of people back. I was scrolling through one of my social media feeds, and I like to look at a lot of inspirational content. And I saw a video that was an interview from the 80s from one of my favorite artists, Lionel Richie. Now, I hate to admit that on camera, but yes, I'm a fan of the Commodores and Lionel Richie and all of his work and his artistry. I think it's amazing. But in that video, he talked about how life works. Not only do you have to believe, but you have to be prepared to walk alone. And in walking alone, you have to be prepared to let certain things go. Meaning, in many cases, you can't get a better job until you let go of the job that's holding you in place. You can't sail to another continent from the shores of the continent that you're standing on. You're going to have to release the boat and make that long journey to the destination that you want to go to. Now, it may seem simple in your mind. It may be a situation where it's like, I can see where I want to go, and all I have to do is just get there. But the problem is that the difference from where you are to where you want to be could be so expansive and so wide that you're going to have to go through a section of, uncertainty. You're going to have to be flapping in the wind, so to speak, without a place to stand for a certain amount of time. But as long as you're prepared to do that, you have the ability to adapt, to get stronger, to get more mentally flexible, to be more adaptive along the way on the journey to become who you're trying to be. Now, for the last portion of building unshakable confidence, transforming your life, or whatever it is that you want to do, you're going to need to take action. And by taking action, I mean you're going to have to be prepared to do it scared. You may have to do it broke. You may have to do it unprepared. But taking the action without any kind of safety nets is going to make it to where it puts the other two steps in perspective. If you believe in yourself, when setbacks come, it'll give you the motivation and the strength to keep going. If you are prepared to do the walk alone without your normal support system that in a lot of ways keeps you stagnant and holds you in place, then you are ready to make the transformation. Now, the only thing that I would ask of anyone who watches this video is that if there is something that you hold dear in your mind that you want to accomplish, I don't care whether that's gaining a new skill, I don't care whether that's getting a new job, increasing your income, take action. Take the very next step that you see. Don't look at the whole puzzle. Grab the next piece that fits in sequence for where you're trying to go. You know, I was driving home today after I went to the parts store to pick up some parts for my semi truck. And I was driving by and I saw a man in an old pickup truck with a small trailer. And he had a lawn care business. And I could see that he was at the beginning stages of making a transformation. And it made me smile. It warmed my heart. I love seeing people on the front lines making the transformation, because eventually that old truck is going to be replaced with a new truck. That small trailer is going to be replaced with a bigger trailer, newer equipment, and he's going to keep growing and growing. As long as he believes in himself, as long as he's prepared to do the walk alone at certain points, and as long as he's prepared to continuously take action. And if you watch this video, I definitely wish the same for you. Now, if you got anything out of this video, I would love to hear what your thoughts are down in the comments section. Subscribe to the channel for more content. My name is Dame, and I'll catch you in the next video.